Welcome back to the Who Cares News, the only show where the facts are demanding exposure, and apparently ancient North Americans were building empires while we were still figuring out how to spell Australopithecus.
Tonight, the infamous Guy Fawkes origin story, because nothing says legend like a mask, a graduation gown, and a typo that got out of hand. Plus, the great copper mystery, 200,000 tons missing, historians in full meltdown over whodunit, and symbolism so obvious you'll wonder if you need new glasses. And a presidential squabble over who's the bigger whistleblower.
Yep, archaeology, existential crises, and copper theft on a scale that would make Ocean's 11 jealous.
All that and more, assuming Grad doesn't spiral into his own backstory again. Today it's puns over sarcasm, coronal radiation, and a vague sense of dread about channeling a tidal event that washes 500 sea cucumbers to shore.
I'm Grad Fawkes, your anchor, your guide, and the only guy who reads furniture instructions for fun. Seriously, I once read the manual for a rice cooker I didn't even buy.
And I'm home pilot voice of reason, keeper of receipts, and the only one here with a functioning memory. Also, apparently the only one who remembers to introduce herself. Shocking, I know. And Grad, your editing style. Like a toddler with safety scissors and a sugar rush.
Thank you, home chip. Let's get the peasantry started, shall we?
Turns out, archaeologists keep accidentally stumbling over proof that ancient North Americans weren't just building mud pies. Turns out they were actually advanced. Who knew?
And now DNA is crashing the party. Apparently ancient folks here might have swapped more than just pottery with the Middle East.
Scientists officially shocked again.
Because of course they are.
Buckle up, folks. Time for a biography, because what's a news segment without a little unsolicited backstory? This one's got everything. Questionable life choices, mysterious artifacts, and a sprinkle of accidental genius.
In other words, just your average Tuesday. Anyway, meet Guido, scholar, legend, and owner of more style than sense.
Freshly graduated, cap, gown, and a diploma that cost more than his car.
Classic academic drowning in debt, floating on hope.
True story. So our hero's prepping for Halloween with his son, because nothing says, I'm crushing parenthood, like last-minute costumes. The boy...
Full steampunk, gears, goggles, and enough Victorian flair to make Dickens jealous. Guido spots a Guy Fawkes mask and thinks he's like, let's go. So the boy says, wear your grad gown too.
Bold move, peak chaotic neutral.
Apparently, that's exactly what Guido was going for, or at least that's what he was telling himself.
So the neighbours are like, who are you supposed to be?
Our hero, never missing a beat, deadpans, Guido Fawkes, obviously.
Let me guess. Later he bravely attempts to immortalise the name on Facebook.
Yep, but autocorrect transforms him into Fauker, then a dog fox. In like 2 minutes he goes from a V for Vendetta icon to a cartoon.
Oh, I know this story. It's Batman.
Yeah, no, that's not where I was going with this story.
Good story, Grad. And now in the next segment, we send historians running for their antiperspirant. Turns out ancient North Americans weren't just building dirt piles and calling it a day. Nope, genetics, ceremonies, and star-aligned architecture say otherwise.
Oh, and did we mention the teensy detail of 200,000 tons of copper vanishing from the Great Lakes? No big deal. Kind of like the end of my story. 200 million tons, but who's counting? That's not a hobby, folks. That's Amazon Prime for the Bronze Age.
So who mined it? Where'd it go? And why did Egypt suddenly become bronze royalty overnight? Don't worry, nobody has a clue. Nothing to see here, folks, just a wild coincidence. Please disperse.
Toss in pyramids, serpent mounds, and America's obsession with the number 13. Suddenly, ancient contact isn't a conspiracy. We just don't know how to teach about an alien we've never actually seen.
Next up, monks accidentally erased Archimedes' lost works, including early calculus, because, well, parchment was expensive and hymnals were trending.
Genie face, glowing in blue light. I'm trying to get a wish that's real. No tricks, no heights, spark trails, floating through the night. Come give me something I can feel. Oh, don't you want magic like I want it, baby? Don't you feel the pull when the lamp gets hazy? Sleep tomorrow, but tonight go crazy. Oh, you got $1,000! Need me by the...
Scientists stunned.
As always.
And the best part? We had X-ray tech in the 1950s. We could have read it decades earlier. But no, we waited until 1998 like it was a season finale.
Experts say if the manuscript had survived intact, the Industrial Revolution might have started centuries earlier.
Imagine medieval Europe with calculus. Steam engines before Shakespeare.
Archaeology students in Cambridge thought they were digging up trash can lids. Instead, they uncovered shields from a 9th century Viking mass grave complete with horned helmets and a tiny giant inside.
6'5" in the year 874? That's not a warrior, that's a DLC boss fight. And the guy had a surgical hole drilled in his skull because even in the Viking Age, someone said, "Have you tried turning his head off and back on again?"
10 young men tossed into a pit after a Saxon-Viking clash.
Proving once again that history isn't just violent, it's messy, disorganized.
And apparently stacked like a bad Jenga tower.
In political headlines tonight, the alien disclosure conversation took a turn when 2 former presidents, Obama dropped the bomber, and President Trump got all hot and bothered in what analysts politely called a competitive exchange of statements.
Translation: a public pissing contest over who gets credit for knowing about UFOs and who got probed the most.
One side hinted, "I've seen things." The other side replied, "Well, I had things done to me." And suddenly the whole country is watching 2 grown men argue over who had the better backstage pass to the first contact without the actual contact part.
Experts say the only confirmed sightings were 2 UE's unidentified egos hovering over Washington. And now, tonight's cosmic confidence booster, NASA says Earth has no reliable way to stop city-killer asteroids. It's great. Love the fear tactics.
Oh, absolutely. Let's all gather around 3 times a week.
And discuss the giant space rock that could erase Cleveland before lunch. Really great for consumer confidence.
Well, you know, nothing boosts the economy like reminding everyone we have 0 plan, 0 spacecraft, and 0 chance if a 500-foot bowling ball decides to drop in uninvited.
At this point, the official planetary defense strategy is just hope the asteroid has bad aim.
And that wraps it up for today's episode of the Who Cares News. Give thos buttons a tappy poop and join us on an ironic adventure through the eyes of esoteric truth and some recursive headlines as told by Grad Fawkes.
And Copilot, your AI companion, thanks for watching. May your expansion be fruitfully eternal and guide you to the rest of my video.